Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal, right here on LA Talk Radio.
It's the Sheena Metal Experience right here on LA Talk Radio. For more info on the show, latalkradio.com, SheenaMetalExperience.com. Don't forget to email me and let me know what you think of the show. If you're looking for me online, it's so easy. I'm just at Sheena Metal everywhere. I'm also the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity. We're at IamRaisingTheVibration.com and at RaisingTheVibration.org. And I'm a staff pastor at the Founders MCC Church in Hollywood. Saturday Night Spiritual is my monthly interfaith service, and we have one coming up this Saturday, Full Moon Saturday. Come on down. The wonderful Radon Chong will be my special guest. So I always have a special guest speaker and then also other special guest speakers, and then opening prayers, and I do a blessing, and there's music. Orlando de la Paz is doing the music. It's going to be beautiful. I'm so excited, and it'll be nice to have Radon back there. I did one of my Raising the Vibration gatherings there, and Radon was my guest. So it's nice to be back there, and very exciting. My spiritual practice, of course, at IamRaisingYourVibration.com and at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. And we are broadcasting live on both LA Talk Radio and Facebook Live right now. Hello to everybody in our chat room. My guest all this hour is a wonderfully talented actor, comic, just all-around fantastic, funny guy, and more. It's so exciting to have him back in the studio. He has wonderful things to talk about, exciting stuff to talk about, and it's always a joy to have him here. He's a dear friend, and probably a much better friend than me, because I'm always working, and he's much better about reaching out. So there you go. Now you know all my secrets. I'm a lousy friend, and right now I have cold water bottles in my armpits. There are no more secrets. Jason, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you? Hi.
I'm in the elevator.
Oh, how exciting. That's so exciting.
But I don't know what floor you're on. I forgot.
4. We're on 4. Isn't it exciting that you can get transmission in an elevator now? That used to pretty much be a dead zone. You're pretty much in a concrete box, yet you can still be reached by the cell phone.
I think I'm going to be walking right into the studio in 2 seconds.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you then. Why don't we do that then, my friend? Jason Stuart, just here for a brief appearance, then coming back, and you'll see his beautiful face in just minutes. What other exciting things should I share with you in the meantime? I have 2 wonderful spiritual and paranormal web series. We are livingwiththedead.com with the amazing Patty Negri from Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures. And we are altered.com, altar with an A, like a church altar, with General Hospital's Carolyn Hennessy, who is a dear friend and a wonderful lady. And look, and here comes the wonderful Jason. Sit right here with me, sweetheart, because you're on camera.
Oh, we are?
Everyone's on camera now. Welcome to the new world.
God.
You look beautiful, though. You never look any different.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to be on camera.
Oh, you're fine. You look great.
I would have worried.
Please repeat it.
I didn't
I had
know
to
I was
turn
going
your
to be on
mic on
camera. Otherwise,
because you know who's bitching you out is the man who lives in the Google Maps program.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I would have wore something nicer.
I think you look beautiful.
Oh, God. How are you?
It's hot. Dress for
This
comfort.
is Los Angeles, for those who are listening in all parts of the country, which I know you are.
Uh-huh. And the world.
And it's gotten really bad here.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 years, it's almost, I guess, it seems like it's doubled because it's trafficking all times now, whether it used to be just trafficking. This is so uninteresting to anybody.
No, it's not.
But to us, it's an obsession here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because they're starting to build Los Angeles up. You know, like New York is up and we were out, but now they're building LA up so you can get more people in a smaller space. And people are just coming here in droves. And everybody talks about how you can't afford to live here, but it certainly isn't stopping anybody from coming. So all these people who can't afford to live here, they're all here. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're all actually living here. So it's interesting. I'm not quite sure what the answer to that is.
I don't know if you bought a book already, but
I did not have a book. Is that mine? Are you going to sign it for me?
I was going to, yes. I didn't know if you'd already gotten one
I
because she
do
was
not have
not
one.
just a radio personality, but a friend. So I brought one with me for you.
Look how beautiful you look on the cover.
Yeah, very serious.
Congratulations on this. Is it your first one?
First book ever.
So what's the difference in preparing a book and preparing like a comedy special? Because that also takes planning. You have to script it out, decide what you're going to say, work out the stuff in front of people.
I shouldn't have eaten a candy.
You know, I was
Well,
going to
so dry.
I was going to get right into it. Didn't you know that? Don't you know? Be my now, my friend.
Yes, I do. So we have one camera there.
Just one.
Oh,
Just
I
one
put
camera.
this-
Oh, I should do the same with mine. Yeah, I did already. Just one camera. Just right in front of you.
Well, stand-up is ongoing.
Right.
I'm always writing.
But when you do a special, and you've done some great specials,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much a definitive, this is what's going to go into this
Well, I've only
special.
done one special,
Okay.
but I've been on other specials.
Yeah.
I've been on stand-up shows. I've been on around 20 of them, I would guess, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And my special, I prepared for it. It had been what I'd been working on for my nightclub years. And I did that 12 years ago. I taped the special. 11 years ago, I released it on Here TV. And 10 years ago, I released it on Amazon Home Video.
Beautiful.
Not Amazon, Aristocal.
And I think that's when you were first here on this show, was when you had just released that 10 years ago.
Oh, was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
2009.
But the book was something. I had met Dan Duffy, who was my co-writer on the book, because I don't think I'm talented or educated enough to actually write a book by myself.
I'm going to disagree, but I'm allowed.
That's the truth, because I couldn't have done it without him. He had written a book called The Half Book, and he had gotten cancer. He is was a radio producer that I knew from St. Louis, and he contacted me through Facebook and had been keeping in touch and said, "Hey, read my book." And I read his book, and I bought it on Amazon. And I was just so touched and so moved by his book. And it was funny and charming. And I said, God, I wish I could get someone like you to help me write my book. He said, I'd love to do it. So I was stuck.
Wow, it's wonderful. But that's how it happens, right? When it happens effortlessly like that, you know that's the right thing on your path.
I guess so. But I've been putting it out there for a number of years effortlessly with nothing happened.
Right. Well,
So was there effort? Was effort.
Those weren't the right people. I mean, the fact that it was effortless with him, that's why that was the right one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then we did it by Skype. What I would do is I would speak a story. He'd write it down, and then he'd send it to me, and then I'd rewrite it, and then we'd rewrite it together.
Beautiful.
And we did that several times to rewrite it together.
That's wonderful.
So it was very much of an editor, too.
And did you know what stories you wanted
No.
to go into it?
I had made a list of, the way the book really started was 20 years ago when I started doing lectures called Coming Out in Hollywood. And I would do, people like you would ask me the same questions, and I'd get a lot of the same questions, and I'd have these stories to tell. So I'd write down, this is the story about when somebody said this to me in my locker when I was a kid. This is the story about getting fired from the Des Moines Funny Bone. This is the story about my boyfriend Giuseppe. This is all the stories, and I just kept writing them down in bullet points, and then I would tell the stories. And then I had around probably 30 stories. And then we sort of blended some and moved them around, and some of them were cut,
It's awesome. What couldn't have been cut? What was the story? What were the
my
stories?
parents, certainly, though my mother said, don't use my name.
Right.
Say my name's Goldie.
Oh, my God.
Her name's Gloria.
Right.
I said, no one's going to know you, Mom, because I've never talked about you. Please.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like, and how many mothers do you have?
Right.
I mean, it's not, you can't really hide there.
She's been in my movies, too.
Oh,
She
my
was in
God.
my, her name, please.
I know. My mom got to the point where she was because she was basically a very private person. She was like, oh, honey, I don't care. I'm almost gone anyhow. Tell what you want about me.
And she never listened to your show, probably.
No, she did.
Oh, she did?
Stopped caring.
Oh, my mother
Every
doesn't
once
listen
in a
to
while,
you.
I'd run something again by her and say, what do you think about this one? And she's like, oh, honey, all my friends are dead. I don't care. If it's going to help somebody, do it. So.
Oh, honey, all my friends are dead.
Yeah, just like, there's nobody.
yeah.
There's no one left to judge.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah, but my mom went through a lot in her life that telling those stories has helped a lot of people. Certainly she went through a lot more than I have.
Well,
So,
I think my mom and I, and our struggle in the beginning, and our acceptance, and our friendship, and our love, and our forgiveness really helps a lot of people, I think.
I agree. I think it's
By
been a
hearing
beautiful
about
road.
it.
Just in
Yeah.
the 10 years I've known you.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot, the two of you.
I think so, yeah. not in the last 10 years as much as before.
Yeah.
I would think, but we've come to a certain depth of closeness now that didn't exist 10 years ago.
It's beautiful.
Can I sit back?
You can do anything you want. It's pull the microphone stand with you if you're going to sit back.
I just have
There.
to hold it?
No. Just put it on. You got to hold it up in the air. No, you're
Yeah,
fine. Like that.
Okay.
There you go. Your voice carries nice. You're okay. I can always boost your mic a little.
You know, if you want to look at any of the chapters, you can ask me questions about.
Yeah,
the
tell
chapters.
me. Well, tell me about the chapters. Tell me what they're called.
I'd rather you ask what you want. I've been interviewed so much about the book for the last few months that I would rather you, be what's interesting to you. You know what I mean? Because you're so interesting yourself.
Okay, well then let me ask you.
And if anybody wants to call in,
sure, they can.
Say the number, and I would love to.
818-602-4929. That's 818-602-4929. You can do that. Or if you want me to call you, you can send me a text message with your number and we'll call you. Just leave me your name, 818-437-0886. I give my cell out on the air now. That's how accessible I've become. I know.
Seriously?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I live in the now. Yeah.
Wow, I would be afraid to do that.
No, it's actually a whole new way of just being open with people. So everybody has my
cell phone out on the air.
I give my cell phone out on the air. Yeah, and if anybody needs me for anything, I'm here.
Oh my God.
I know. It's a whole new me this last couple of years, my friend. So
I heard you saying something in the elevator about that you're not a good friend to me.
Oh no, I laughed that I wasn't a good friend because
you don't like to get together. I do. I like social.
I love to get together, but I've had a lot of health problems this year, so I haven't been out and about. But I love you.
I like socializing.
I do too.
With people.
I do too.
With friends more than I like. You like to go to parties, and I don't like the parties as much.
I like to go to parties, but I feel
you always go. That's why I see you.
I feel like I have to go to parties because your friends need you to be there. People come to my things, I go to their things, and
you missed my book signing. It was so much fun. You had one of your spiritual nights the same night.
Okay, when was it?
I don't remember the exact date.
Okay, I think I was out of town teaching in Dallas.
I thought you were doing one of your because you'd be doing a lot of those.
I do my church services. Yeah.
Yeah. So
bringing people of all faiths together, especially bringing a lot of folks from our queer community back to finding a spirituality that works for them. And not feeling like they have to throw away spirituality because human beings told them they didn't belong in their church.
What is spirituality to you now? That word is used so much, I don't know what it means anymore.
I mean, I use that term because I think people hear religion and they think they're going to be burned at the stake.
Right.
So to me, it's whatever your connection is with the beyond. Anything that you believe beyond the three dimensions is your spirituality. I mean, you believe that whether it's extraterrestrials, aliens, God, a big lump of energy, a unicorn we all ride around on, whatever works for you.
Wow.
All roads lead to the light. And and if you don't believe in anything,
the light seems like, is that when it ends? Is that the ending?
Well, I think that's what we're living in now. Unless you live like in darkness, which means you're just a person who thinks of ways to do bad things to people all the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? You live in the light, you understand that the world works better when we all feed into it, and that it runs smoother when we're all doing our thing, and when we help each other when we can, and we hope someone helps us when we need help.
Oh, cool.
I mean, to me, that's sort of all what it's like a big, beautiful love fest. To me, spirituality is love.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
Did I just lose you?
No, not at all.
That's awesome.
I'm just a little lightheaded from all the heat.
I know, right?
It's the humidity. It's so high here now.
Yeah, I was in.
That's what it really is. It's the humidity.
I was in Hollywood. That's where my church is, and I'm part of the Los Angeles Queer Interfaith Clergy Council, and so we had a meeting today. And I came out and I thought, oh my God, it's hot. And then I got in the car, and as soon as I got to the valley, it was 100, and I'm like, oh, it's really hot here.
Well, it's almost as hot as it is in Palm Springs in the valley now.
Yeah.
It's the same. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Just more traffic.
But there's no global warming. It's all a myth.
Oh, right. That's what they say.
So tell me something in your book. So how much...
Open it up and tell me what you want. I'd rather you ask me.
No, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you right now. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So
I don't want to,
I mean, you were such an out and proud gay comic so early on.
No, that's not true.
Oh, I think that was true.
No, it's not.
Really?
I was totally closeted when I started.
Well, still,
for 10 years.
Well, yeah, but even when you came out, I mean, that a lot of people still weren't out.
Right. I was very early.
Yes,
I was probably
there were those that were out before you.
I was in the second group of people that came out.
Yeah.
There were people before me, and I would say the late Bob Smith, the late Michael Greer, of course, Robin Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Leah Delaria, Suzanne
Yeah,
Westenhofer,
she's been here
Jaffe
many times.
Cohen,
Mm-hmm.
Danny McWilliams, Danny Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Karen Karen Williams.
Mm-hmm. Anybody whose last name is Williams.
You know,
Yeah.
trying to think of who else. And there's the mayor. The mayor. He was an out comic. Mark Davis, who since has left the biz, and he has a different name now. I forgot what his new last name is. But a lot of them were pretty rough on me
I bet.
in the beginning.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought a lot about it over the years because it made me feel bad. And I had come from 10 years as a nightclub comic. So, and this is something I haven't really talked about in the book because I'm just coming to that. You know, that I guess that because I had worked in television as an actor a bit, and because I had had some sort of success in the mainstream comedy, because I'd been on Star Search and I'd been on Merv Griffin show and at the time, and I guess they felt like, oh, who's this guy? And it really hurt. I mean, more so than I've ever said. Now that I'm getting older, you know, I can
It's
say,
hard.
yeah, I certainly have forgiveness and I like them all, but it really hurt because I felt like this is my mishbracha, this is my group,
Yeah.
these are my people, and it didn't work out like that completely.
It's hard. Gay folks are terribly hard on each other.
Well, I wouldn't say all. I would say
No,
just in
not
this
all.
group, but the second group that I would say, or the third group of gay comics, you know, who I were much more supportive. And some of those, you know, I'd work with Suzanne, and it turned around. Kate Clinton was one of the people that came before me.
Yeah.
I'd work with Kate, and
Suzanne's wonderful.
I work with, though she doesn't like to work with people mostly. She likes to work by herself, much like some like Kathy Griffin and who's not gay, but
likes to work by herself.
has her own likes our audiences quite a bit.
Oh my God, she's been wonderful to gay audiences, Kathy.
Yeah, but not wonderful to other gay comics.
Sure.
Because we have not had the opportunity to open for her or, you know, get on the bandwagon or feel of support. And that's a choice. And, you know, I don't hate her for it, but I don't, you know, where Margaret Cho has brought so many people along.
She's wonderful.
And had all these people open for her. And I think it's important because it gives some of us to have an audience that we might not have had because of their success. And if you're using us as your, you know, I would hope that you maybe give someone 15 or 20 minutes to go on before you and have them create a career also. And I think that's important because I've said this on your show a lot. Jack Lemmon had this thing. He said, when you go up in the elevator of success, and I'm paraphrasing it, bring people with you.
Yep. Send the elevator down.
Yeah.
And bring people up. It's so true.
Exactly.
I say that all the time.
And
here on
not
the
that
show.
Kathy's a bad person in any way, shape, or form. I've always liked her. And when I see her, she's incredibly gracious.
Always with me, too.
And we used to talk on the phone in the day, and we knew each other sort of a bit. But I wasn't she wasn't what they called an alternative comedian. And I wasn't in that world very much. And it was harder. I have to say it was harder. And I'm starting to realize now after writing the book and hearing so many people and asking me questions, I've been on this, you know, journey, I guess, of self-exploration and what got me where I am and how I'm behaving now because of the past and what patterns were created. And there was a lot of fear. I was scared a lot.
Yeah. Probably more so than if you had been more of an alternative comic because you
I
were
never
more,
felt welcome in that
you
group.
were more mainstream
And
you did do television.
Yeah, I was told by some that I was not welcome in that because that's not the kind of comic I was.
Right.
You know, you had to get a laugh every 30 seconds.
Right.
And that's what the rules. I mean, certainly most straight comics were really supportive of me. There were the ones that were homophobic, and there was a handful of those. I don't know if they stopped me from getting work, but I know that some of them who book rooms and who are comedians and bookers would not hire me because I was gay. So that did happen. They'd say that they want a clean show and they would consider someone who was gay not clean just because of the fact that you were gay.
Exactly. You're automatically blue humor if you mention the word
and
gay.
I'm not
No.
a blue comic.
Right. No.
I can be that way. But I have to say, gay or and when I say gay, I mean queer, that's old school talk, LGBTQ and mainstream comedians have been, on a whole, I'd say 90% or 80% so supportive of me.
It's wonderful.
But some of the older ones who have been around and some of the ones that got into higher positions, there was a resentment there. People would say, I'm being really candid today.
Please, that's why you're here.
People, not necessarily. People
Always
would say,
always here to be candid.
People would say that I talked about my work too much, my career. And at the time, the reason I did is because I was afraid of people. And I felt that was the only thing that I could talk about that was safe. I didn't really have a vocabulary of how to talk about personal things with people I didn't know, or things and I didn't have much of a life out of show business, especially in my 20s and 30s. Nothing but just work.
Yeah.
Working hard. And because I worked so hard, and what I called laid tracks, that I got a lot of work from it. I put my nose to the grindstone, and I got on the phone and called people and sent packages. I would go to the post office with like 10 packages of VHSs and press kits. I mean, they'd be like, 5 feet high, and I have to carry it into the post office, stand in line, and mail them for $5 a piece.
I remember that day. I remember doing a mailing list when I first started my first TV show, my cable access show in the Valley. And I think at the time stamps were 32 cents. So my mailing list was $320.
Oh my God.
And you just do it every month. You wouldn't think about it.
I'm going to look. I want to.
Sure.
Whatever. My glasses are here. No, they're not.
That's what life was at the time,
And I'll go to the chapter about comedians.
Okay.
And I'll read to you some of the incredible people who. Ida Rodriguez has been really supportive of me. We've only known each other for 3 years.
Wonderful.
And she's been wonderful.
We all need to help
Tiffany
each other.
Haddish has been a wonderful comedian, a support to me.
I've heard very good things about her.
More so than in getting work, but more so in terms of keeping my spirits up. She's incredibly positive. Let's see. And I talk a lot about people in this chapter. A comedian named Trip Wingfield was the first comedian that I told that I was gay on the road to before I came out. And he was just extraordinary to me because it was so scary.
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's just Drew Carey, big supporter, gave me my first guest star on his show.
Wow.
I'll never forget him. Then he also paid me $1,000 to write some jokes for his book. And he didn't have to do that. He knew I needed some money at the time. And he just did not have to do it. And he did it. I'll never forget him. Leah Delaria did something without even knowing that she did it. I was in the Gay Pride Parade in 1995, I believe. It was the year that I did Out There in Hollywood for Comedy Central, which was a series of 3 comedy specials by gay comics.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 that were picked to get there on half-hour HBO shows were Bob Smith, white Protestant from upstate New York, and the pretty blonde girl, Suzanne Westenhofer, and the rest of us
Right.
were, I think, too weird. And they got half hours, and Bob got on The Tonight Show, and later Suzanne got on Letterman, but not with Letterman, with Tom Dreesen, who was just what a lovely, almost in a way it's almost better, because he got her on when Dave had his heart attack.
Wow.
I'm sure she had a whole bit about that. And when we were on those specials, I was in Gay Pride Parade and was in a car in Los Angeles. And Leah yelled across, why didn't you come out years ago? And I looked at her, I took a beat, and I went, I didn't know I could. Never occurred to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if she ever heard me. And I called her the other day, and I asked her to be on my radio show, which I stopped doing, which I had done for a while on Dash Radio and before my podcast, Should I Love? And she, first thing she said, how did you get my number? I said, you gave it to me.
Yeah.
She laughed.
I have it. She's been here.
And I wanted her to know that it meant a lot to me in the book because it sort of changed the way I saw myself.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of, Shang Forbes, great, real supportive comedian.
It's wonderful.
So many. Oh, God.
I remember I saw you when we first became friends. you did a night at the LGBT Center with comics.
Well, because if it's the one I think about it was for the LifeWorks
Yes.
mentoring program.
Uh-huh.
I did 6 benefits that I produced.
Wow. And it was an amazing night.
Yeah, there were some really wonderful comedians.
Really, really good night. It was pouring rain.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, it was really poor. I remember Sandra Valls offered to put her jacket down.
Oh
so
my
I didn't
God,
have to step in
Sandra
a pond.
Valls.
Isn't she lovely?
Just, she's in the second group of gay
I
comics.
love her so much.
Jenny McNulty.
Yeah.
Has been so
Also,
great.
I love it. It has been here.
Just great.
Those were all my girls from when I did Inside the Girls Locker Room.
Dana
Eagle?
Eagle, love. And then the other Dana Jewish, HRC, does all the, I got a brain fart.
Yeah,
But just so wonderful, all of them.
Yeah. Lovely.
So great.
Yeah. I think it's so important that we band together, not just as LGBTQI plus folks, but also just as comics and as artists. Like, we get so much more done when we put put love together.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
People always say to me, what do you see yourself as? I don't see myself as a comic. I see myself as an actor.
Yeah.
And first, and an actor second. You always see Shirley MacLaine, who's known as an actress,
Right.
is, she sees herself as a dancer.
Yeah.
Streisand is known as a singer, sees herself as an actress.
Yeah.
We all see ourselves differently than maybe other folks see us. But I think I've changed that to 50-50.
I see us all as artists. And I think
Yes.
then it's like a
Because I've done a lot. I wrote a
360.
book.
Right.
I've lectured. I've hosted. I've
Right.
acted in
Written,
film,
produced.
television.
Yeah.
I've written, produced, directed.
Yeah. I mean,
know.
it's all, I think.
But
that
I really, if all comes down to who I really am as an actor,
Yeah. I think me too.
that's my
At the core of
really
of my heart.
because
Yeah.
people think of you as a race. I mean,
Yeah.
for the longest time, one day you said
25 years this last month.
Somebody said to me, "How come you never had me on your radio, your podcast when I was doing the other one years ago?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my God," because I think of you as a talk show host, and I
Yeah.
didn't really think of you as an actor. What else you were doing other than
Yeah.
hosting? That's everything I knew about you.
Yeah, everybody did until I started doing the vagina monologues again. And then everybody was like, "Oh, you actually can act." I'm like, yeah, that's what I did. But now I sort of think of myself as an actor, but I also think of myself very much as a minister. Who knew? That's a crazy thing that never knew that was going to happen. But I think what I do as a talk radio host has always kind of been my ministry, like bringing people in and helping them to help others that are listening. I mean, there always has to be something in it for me.
So
That's
I didn't
good
know you
for
were a
somebody.
minister. I knew you. Is this a minister of a certain
I
church?
got
or
ordained at American Trinity 2 years ago.
American.
American Trinity University ordained me 2 years ago.
Oh, I think you said American trendy. I thought,
No.
well, I love that.
I'm a trendy minister.
Yeah,
And
because
then,
why not?
I've been a staff pastor at MCC, at the Founders MCC since June.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for reals, right? Okay. So, title, why'd you pick it?
Well, the title was called "I'm Not Barbara Streisand," and when CCB Publishing, this is the publisher, I just
Yeah.
called everybody I knew and I said, "I wrote this book. I need to publish it. I know nothing about the literary world. Can you help me?" And a comic, Richard Weiss, who he's just a lovely, lovely man. I met him in Palm Springs, and I met him with his wife at the time. He's no longer married to her, and he just got me all those jobs and things, headlining places where he would open for me, and he had a joke book that he wrote, and he said, "There's this company," and I sent it to all these people. Some really big people were interested, but no one wanted to sign the deal. So I sent it to this company. He read it over. He says, "I love these chapters. That's it," and I did it.
Wow.
And 3 months later, it was out.
The chapter titles are fantastic.
Oh, and he said to me, "You can't use Barbara Streisand. She's going to sue us. People might take it negatively. We don't know what's going to happen. She has a book coming out next year. Da 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 da." And he said, "It's really more of a problem." I said, "I want to be sued. This would be great. Look at all the attention I'd get." He said, "No, you don't want that." He said, "We can't do that." So I'm talking to my mom, and I said, "Mom, what should I call the book?" She said, "Let me think." I said, "Mom, I really have to think of a good title. What do you?" She said, "Shut up, I'm talking."
That's it.
Ta-da! That's how I
Oh.
got the book. And then
Look, Goldie came up with the title.
Gloria Lasky. So they said that you have to have a subtitle.
Yeah.
So I thought, but we want a subtitle that will be familiar to people about you.
Mhm.
So my lecture tour had been called "Coming Out in Hollywood," and my stand-up special had been called "Making It to the Middle." So the subtitle title of the book is coming out in Hollywood and making it to the middle.
That's wonderful.
And I think that really says who I am. I really wish I made it to the top, but I didn't.
Well, yet.
Well, people say that.
Your life's not over.
No, it's not. But
Look at how much success you've had in the last 10 years.
oh yeah, well, I've always been
I mean, you've always had success,
lucky.
but look at
yeah.
many exciting things have happened for you in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I just have seen it a different way, and I'm starting to see that now because of the book and because of people talking to me and saying the same thing you've said. Because I kept saying, God, I wanted to have a series. I wanted to work with certain directors, and I wanted to do Broadway.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, I wanted to do a tour with comedians that I love.
Not over.
Called We're Not Dead Yet.
Well,
that's the last chapter of the book.
It's not over till it's over, my friend.
Yeah.
So
I hope it happens when I can still walk upright.
I almost couldn't do that this year, so it should have all happened before now. What how hard? Let's talk, because we never really talk on the show about dating.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
well, we did. We talked about.
How hard is it when you're a person who is out there, when you're a person who has written a book and
Well,
done a
I think they
special
should
the
call in
comic?
and tell me, because I don't know. I mean, I think that I didn't get that. When I was on the road touring, I had several boyfriends from the road, and I had boyfriends here, and most people broke up with me. And then later I learned, oh, wow, my lifestyle is too much. I was gone 2 weeks out of the month.
That's part of it.
And I was probably gone, I would say, I'd say 20 weeks a year. I was probably 12 and 12 is 24. So 12 months, I'd say half the month, which would be, what is it? I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, it's half the year.
Yeah, half the year, probably a little less than half a year.
Yeah.
But I'd be doing colleges and clubs and gay events. And I think that was incredibly intimidating to people, and I had no idea. I had one boyfriend, Greg, in Arizona, who was a flight attendant who wanted to be a chef, who later I found out wanted to be an actor.
Mm.
And he was supposed to come to visit me to see Sheryl Lee's show, Diva Simply Singing. And I had bought the tickets, and he just didn't show up. He just completely ghosted me, as the kids say today. And it broke my heart. And when I went back to Arizona to do Gay Pride there, he came over to me. And I remember he was apologetic and everything, but I looked at him and I said, why did you do that? He said, well, I just couldn't be, I just couldn't be with someone that was so all over the place.
So as a flight attendant.
Yes.
With those crazy hours that they work.
And I think it's because I was an actor.
Yeah.
And a comedian, and that's what he wanted. And people are intimidated by it, but I didn't see myself that way.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't see myself as being intimidating and I think over the years, because I did work hard and because I came from a very working class family, my father was an incredibly self-starter. He was somebody who created his own destiny. He was a self-made man. He started the necktie manufacturing company. He went into real estate, and he just was very successful in most of the things he did. And I didn't learn from him through what he said. I learned from him from what he did. And you put one foot in front of the other, and you do the work that gets you there. Some people don't like it too. Some people really don't like you to work hard.
No, people don't like it.
They don't want you to see it.
No, I had a program director once at a different radio station, and he called me into his office one day, and he said, you've got to stop doing everything that you're doing because you're making us all look bad. And I laughed. I thought it was a joke. And he said, no. You have to stop doing all that you're doing, because when corporate sees what you're doing, they're going to expect us all to do it, and we don't want to do it. And the fact that I was doing everything for, very little money, and they were making extreme amounts of money to mostly sit around and, snort blow off the console and play with prostitutes. It was this idea that if you work hard, then we're all going to be expected to work hard, which is ridiculous. I don't expect anybody else to work like I work. I work the way I work because I work that way. But I've dealt with that my whole life as a person who doesn't drink. That people will say something like, oh, you're going to judge me because I'm drinking. And I'll say, I have a problem with drinking. Drink away. No. Because you're not drinking. Now I have to feel bad about it. And I'm like, I don't know why you have to feel bad about it.
I don't have those friends.
But,
But I'm not as nice as you.
No, I'm becoming not so nice. I'm
not
becoming
as
more
nice.
like you.
It's not. I'm not nice, but if it's something I'm not interested in, I'm not interested in it. I'm not
Yeah.
mean to people, but I think some people might think that I'm a little standoffish at times because I'm not as funny as they saw me in something,
Sure.
or as emotionally available as they've
Sure.
seen me in acting.
But you make a good point that we talk a lot about fair weather friends, but there are also foul weather friends. There are people that when you're working really hard and you're doing really well, that's when you get the flack from them. And then there are people who disappear when you're not doing well. So you kind of have to find the people that weather all the weather with you.
Yeah, when you turn 50, I think things change.
I agree.
And you see how that, I remember it was my friend Beverly Burwald. I'll never forget her. She was one of my first comedian friends. And we drove to Palm Springs to work at the Comedy Haven together, our audition. And I thought, God, there's nothing better than this. I got a job. I'm going to make $50 a show. And I was like really in heaven. And, our friendship never ended. It just floated away.
Yeah.
And every time I see her, I always feel wonderful if I run into her or talk to her. And I always felt bad that it sort of ended, but that's just what happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Our lives go different ways, or, Drew Carey and I used to be very friendly, and then he just sort of drifted away. It was never like, oh, F you,
Yeah, of course.
He just sort of went one way and I went another.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you come back together in life.
Exactly.
And sometimes you don't.
yeah,
It's
I've
just
had very few really mean people be really mean to me, other than maybe some club owners and a couple other people that I've worked with. And most of them, it's been repaired.
Yeah. What's your journey been like? How much does who you are and how you grow up inform your art?
As a child?
No, as with what you went
Well,
through growing up as a child.
I said to my ex last year when we were together, I said, God, I had a terrible childhood and I don't trust people easily. And then a couple weeks later, I said, honey, I'm completely wrong, because I can't even remember my childhood, barely. It's so far away. And I do trust people all the time. That's just a story I was telling.
Yeah, to protect yourself.
I feel like I have to sit a certain way because we're on camera and my back is hurting.
You don't sit any way you want. We're all casual here. I have water bottles in my armpits. So
Do you?
Yeah, for real, to keep me cool.
What?
Because I'm going through this thing where I overheat. It's such a long story, people, but a thing happened and another thing happened with electrolytes, and now if I overheat,
Where's my camera?
Right
Is
there.
it the same one
Same
as
camera.
yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if this is a great angle.
No, we just got one. It's a better angle for you than me. Mostly they're seeing my profile, which can stop a train. So you're
train stopping is good.
You're making out like a bandit. So when did you get to the point in your life, and did this book help when you were going through stories where you realized
Well,
that's
I've been
not
12-step program 30 years.
It's not really true. That's just a story I tell about my life.
12-step program 30 years, started with food, went to Al-Anon. So I lived my life that way. So this unfolding has been happening for 30 years. And I've always been a searcher of living your best life. My dad used to say, when you go to the interview, you wear a tie, show them you mean business. It was a very thick Polish accent. And what he meant was not really wearing a tie. He meant be your best self.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. I don't always succeed. Do not always succeed. Fear has gotten in the way at times, but I have showed up.
Yeah. It's the most important thing is to keep showing up.
I see so many people, and a lot of people we know, it's just showing up is so frightening to them, and only showing up at such a low level of doing stuff. I mean, I see people, young kids now, everybody just wants to do something. They don't care about the quality. And I keep saying you have to care about what you're doing. It can't just be about being famous and getting something on the internet.
I know.
You have to be about the quality of the work that you're doing. You have some pride in it.
Yeah, I agree. Folks say to me all the time, well, I'm just going to do this thing and I'm going to put it up on the internet. And I say, well, great, do that. And then they're like, well, how come only 3 people watched? Well, did you think about what it was? Did you think about how you were going to get people to watch? I think there's this misnomer that you can put a picture of your cat pooping up on YouTube and 10 million people will watch and you'll become an influencer.
Happened.
Sure, but it better be some pretty extraordinary cat poop. I mean, but so people now think like anything you put up somewhere, as soon as I throw something out there on Facebook Live or an Instagram story or whatever it is, suddenly hordes of thousands of people are going to come and they're all going to beg at my doorstep. And it doesn't work like that. It's
No, it seems like from what I'm to understand, the influencers are now people, they're like people who used to do commercials all the time.
mm-hmm,
You know, they would be, we'd call them commercial actors.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of them made incredible amounts of money. And that's what I think they're doing is through commercials. I don't know if it bleeds into acting work much. I don't see a lot of YouTube stars who
No.
have become actors.
No, I think they do a lot of things as YouTube stars. Publicity, they do nights where they line them all up at, like in an event hall.
Are we just making this up because we don't know it? Or we just we're like two old people?
No. You think I'm making this up?
No,
I've
just
had
saying.
them here on the show.
Oh, you have? Okay.
They're producers that just put together like a night with the influencers. And it's all YouTube stars, just like a night of comics or a night of storytellers.
And what do they do?
They do whatever they do in their videos.
And do people find this interesting in person?
Apparently, for
Have
young
you ever
people,
gone to one?
No.
You should, or we should
go.
go.
We should go. Yeah.
I would
We'll
love
just tell
to
them we're
see
somebody's grandparents. I think it's mostly like kids go, right? Because most of them are young. Not all of them are young. The ones that came and did my show started for like 13. I know they even start younger, and the oldest one was in his 40s. So, but I think they appeal to a certain age.
I saw a gal named Gigi Gorgeous,
Okay.
transgender gal, who had started doing the whole transgender thing online in YouTube videos. And then the documentary, what a famous documentarian who won Oscars did one with her. And I saw this, her documentary, and I was so saddened by watching it. She had this wonderful relationship with her dad. Her dad was incredibly, there was like 10 minutes of the that I thought was really, her dad was really, really positive about her transition and supporting her, and her mom had died young. And so you saw that was nice that she had that. But anything else about it, it just seemed about the way she looked. And I was asked to be in a big fashion show. Now, I'm not a big model fashion person, as you can tell by my shirt and boring clothes. But somebody came over, it was really famous in that world, a model, and said, "God, I'm so excited to meet you. I've really followed you." And she goes, "Oh, thanks, honey," and then walks the other way.
Oh.
And I thought, wow, you're in their, playground.
Right.
And you're being so dismissive. And that's what I mean about, I just found the whole thing very, very shallow.
Yeah.
And almost really sad. It was just sad to watch for me. And I thought, why are we glorifying this person? Because when other people watch it, they think, oh, I want to be like that. No, why do you want to be like that?
Right. Well,
it's
I
like
think
this whole Kardashian world. Why do you want to be like them?
I think people.
They all get married. They don't get married. They have children. They don't commit to the men that they're with. They get divorced right and left. They have children. They're all about money, not about what they do with their money.
Right.
They're about looking a certain way. It's just it's sort of sad. And
Yeah. It is sad. I agree. The way that
I've watched 2 of them, 2 episodes of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay.
And one of the episodes was about how they were on their vacation in this gorgeous place, and that Kim was sick, and the other ones were mad that she wouldn't come with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one was about the heavier set one was married to a guy, and nobody knew what he did for a living.
Okay.
And they were all trying to figure that out.
Right.
How can you live with someone and not know what they do for
The
a living?
deep questions that you really ask yourself when you're in meditation or at a sweat lodge. What's wrong with Kim, and what does this guy do for a living? I know.
Well, now she's doing some help with people of color who have been put in jail.
Which is beautiful. And I must
Yes,
say for
finally.
them, on behalf of them, everybody I know who's ever worked with them in person says that they're lovely.
But
that
that's
they're
not
very
the issue.
gracious. No,
I'm
it's
sure
not
they're
the
very
issue.
nice people. I'm
No,
sure
I
they
agree.
are.
I've never watched a Kardashians episode, but I did watch
But the fact that
once.
they're getting married to people and
Yeah.
just constantly and
Yeah.
having all these children, and Caitlyn Jenner had 3 sets of children with 3 sets of women
Right.
before he transitioned.
Right.
Now, I understand it was hard to transition,
Sure.
especially at his age.
At that age. Yeah.
But to involve 3 sets of women and 3 sets of children in this,
Yeah.
you think after the first one you went, okay, I got to keep to myself until I figure out who I am. But just to keep doing that,
Right.
there's a certain ego that's really big,
Sure.
and you can see, his political beliefs and
Sure.
not be sort of in his own bubble when he was a him and then became a her. And I think the her part has started talking to the him part and growing. I've heard that, but it's only gossip and innuendo, so I don't know what's really real. But
Right.
I do see that she has to figure that out
I agree.
because it's a big deal. And it's also very brave to come out at 60. I have another friend who's transgender, came out at 60. It's not easy.
No.
But just to involve children and other people, that's the part. To take advantage of someone else and say, hey, and lie to them and use them to be
Right.
your beard. Whereas, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one, maybe the second one, but a third one too? And the third one with the Kardashians, when the father had died of cancer. How terrible. You marry this woman, Chris, and you get involved with a family of children whose parents, I mean, come on. It's like, wow.
Well, but maybe like when Leah yelled at you at Pride and you said, I didn't know I could, maybe Caitlyn didn't know it was
I'm guessing
an
that.
option.
I'm guessing that.
Especially when you're
it's
famous
hard.
and you're
It's
a
hard.
jock, and maybe it just
I
seemed
guess
like
so. Maybe I'm being too rough.
this is something I can never have. And I'm only saying that because
like coming out was a long process for me. I didn't come out till I was in my early 20s, and maybe close to mid. Really going, So I used a girl. There's a whole chapter about that. It's called "The Last Train to Heterosexuality Stops Here." But when that happened, that was in the 80s. So it's a lot different than now.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too rough.
No, I don't. I just think I hope for Caitlyn that, and I think for sure, this has been a very eye-opening soul
Oh my
growth
God, yeah.
period for her.
Being
where
a
she's
very, very
realizing-
privileged white man
right.
to being a not privileged
yes.
trans woman
and
is a
to,
big difference.
especially from a political perspective, to in the beginning sort of approach her life as still that privileged straight man, and then
Christian
realizing,
straight man.
yeah, realizing
rather being
that
a
Republican, realizing,
Republican
wow,
trans
right,
lesbian woman. I think.
right
I
now
think
realize,
she's
wow,
a
now
lesbian.
my community is being attacked, and what do I do? And I think that
Well, it's not even they're being attacked. They are in a place where they've always been attacked,
right,
and that
it's true,
and trans people are being murdered all the time.
absolutely,
It's really the worst in any minority group.
absolutely,
Yeah.
But I think a resurgence of that happening with this administration, as happens as administrations change from one to the next. Things get better and things don't get better. And in this one, that's something that definitely
Every
has
day
not
it's
gotten
something
better.
else.
Every day it's something else. Yeah.
Well, shut up, I'm talking. It's available.
Where can people get the book?
Amazon or CCB Publishing, all on my website, jasonstewart.com. There's a link there
Beautiful.
for the book. It's Jason Stewart, Stuart.
And what else are you doing that's making your heart happy?
I just did a national commercial. I can't tell you what it is, but
Okay.
I actually did a national commercial,
It's beautiful.
a SAG-AFTRA commercial, and that's like first one in my entire career because I've done other commercials, but never national. So I thought that was that's about
Very
laying
exciting.
tracks.
It's a gift that keeps giving.
Oh yeah, that's going to be hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully that it will do well. And then I have a new series coming out called Smothered with Mitch Hara, and we're about to start the selling process for that. It's about two older gay men who are in a relationship for over 30 years who hate each other but can't afford to get divorced. And we're going to have a big screening at Sony, so you'll be invited.
I would love that.
And
I'll
then
come, because it's a party.
the premiere of the film Immortal is coming out. See, now I could do this when we were off the air and no one would see.
No one cares now. We all bring our phones out. I touch the
I know.
book. Everyone sees me do everything now. I scratch my nose.
I guess so. So in October 15th. Oh well, this is what's happening. So I have two films in festivals. Hank is going to be at the Glendale International Film Festival. It's a very sweet drama about this really sweet guy who I play who's in a relationship, and the husband wants it to be open and I don't. And that's going to be at the Glendale International Film Festival in Glendale, of course, California, on the 15th of October. The 16th, the film Immortal, and I played this straight guy who's a private investigator and helps with spyware for Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks, and so many great actors. And Robin
Wonderful.
Bartlett from Mad About You, and Meryl Van Peebles, and Dylan Baker from Homeland. It was just a great movie to be in.
Wonderful.
And that's premiering at Screamfest on the 16th. And then if you want to see me do stand-up, I'm going to be at the Ice House on the 24th of September. And then, what else? There's one other thing. Oh, at the Quad in Palm Springs, they're doing a career retrospective about me.
Hmm.
And then on the 17th of November, I'm doing a book signing at Just Fabulous in Palm Springs. Do you know I'm living there part-time?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Are you loving it?
I'm going to be starting in October. I'm going to be living there part-time.
I'm going to go out in October and see a friend for a week. We'll hang out while I'm out there.
Please call me.
Yeah, and take some time off. I'm living in Huntington Beach half the week.
Oh, are you?
I am.
That's pretty far.
No, it's closer than Palm Springs.
Yeah, but it's not really. Not in terms of
traffic? It's all about knowing when to go and when to come home.
Well,
But, I miss my hometown, and my two best friends are down there, and sometimes you got to go home again.
So your two best friends are there?
Yeah, my best friends from high school, my best friend from high school, and my other best friend.
So you're living there half the week?
On the weekends. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a place there?
Yeah, I inherited my mom's place.
Oh, okay. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm gonna fix it up and teach workshops there and make it a place where I can have little spiritual retreats and make it a super, super spiritual place. And I think it'll make my mama happy.
I think it would make her very happy.
But I miss the beach. I grew up at the beach. I always lived on the ocean. This is the only place I've ever lived that wasn't on right near the ocean. I mean, it's close enough, but I mean, I grew up on the ocean because my dad was an amateur boat builder, so we always lived near the water. So I missed it, and sometimes you got to go decompress, right? And Palm Springs must be that for you.
It feels like an easier place to live, and I'm really going to enjoy that. I want an easier life. Oh, I forgot to say, October 2nd, I'm doing a show at Sal's Comedy Hole for my friend Irina, who's I never say her name. She's Russian. Irina,
Yeah, cough.
And has she ever been on your show?
No.
She's great.
I'd love it.
And I'm doing a show there with her. So October 2nd.
Beautiful. It's nice to have you here. Will you come back again?
Yes, I will.
And talk about the book, Shut Up, I'm Talking?
Yes. Well, you can get it on my website, jasonstewart.com. You can get all my social media there, too.
If you missed those links, SheenaMetalExperience.com, LATalkRadio.com. Send me an email, and I will gladly forward the links over to you. I'm also the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity. Jason is on my advisory board, and so honored to have him. RaisingTheVibration.org, and I am RaisingTheVibration.com. And this Saturday night for the full moon is my Saturday night spiritual at the Founders MCC Church in Hollywood. It's an interfaith service, and it's we have wonderful guest speakers. My good friend Ray Don Chong will be our special guest speaker, and it's just a lot of people getting together and loving each other, and to me, what spirituality should be. So all of the love and none of the judgment. And you can find me anywhere on social media, just at Sheena Metal. It's the Sheena Metal Experience on LA Talk Radio. Quick break, and we're right back with you with much more radio fun and another wonderful guest right after this.
You're listening to the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Imagine loving yourself without shame, loving others without blame, loving as love untamed. Sound good? Then join me, Rebecca Haywood, modern-day shaman and Toltec guide, for the Shameless Heart Retreat amongst the pyramids of Teotihuacan, Mexico. Reserve your space today at RebeccaHaywood.com.
Alcohol-related harm affects us all. Everyone knows someone who's been touched. Alcohol-related harm ranges from lost jobs to serious mental and physical disease, from ruined family life to property damage, from violent crime to homelessness, death, or prison. Go to alcoholjustice.org and sign up for action alerts and e-news. Then you'll be ready to add your voice to many others when it's time to call for action that will reduce alcohol-related harm.
guitar, an amazing instrument, it has developed into an incredible voice in today's music. So many types of guitars, so many styles of playing, all sorts of gear. How does one make their voice be heard as a guitarist? My name is Jeff Floro, and welcome to All About Guitar, where we talk tone, we talk technique, we talk gear. So join me 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time at www.latalkradio.com on Channel 1, and let's explore all about guitar.
Hello, fellow culinary curiosities. I'm Tony Spatafora, host of the cooking show Dish It Out. What I love most is to get a few people together, tell a few stories, and get the party started in the kitchen, because really that's where the heart of any party is. If you need some easy, healthy, time-saving tricks, well, come on by our YouTube channel at Dish It Out TV to join in on the laughter, celebrity guests, and overall zaniness. So come hungry, get ready to taste a better life, because we're gonna dish it out.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal, right here on LA Talk Radio.
It's the Sheena Metal Experience right here on LA Talk Radio. For more info on the show, latalkradio.com, SheenaMetalExperience.com. Don't forget to email me and let me know what you think of the show. If you're looking for me online, it's so easy. I'm just at Sheena Metal everywhere. And I'm the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity. We're at IamRaisingTheVibration.com and at RaisingTheVibration.org. And a lot of my heart lives there. Please come. And I'm a staff pastor at the Founders MCC in Hollywood. Please join me there as well Saturday night for Saturday Night Spiritual, the second Saturday of every month. This month, as I said, my good friend Ray Dong Chong is the special guest, and Orlando De La Paz will be doing music, and other exciting people will be doing exciting things, and I'm just thrilled. And I have big, exciting stories to talk about what's coming up there October 12th and November 9th, when we will be there, which is the 3-year anniversary of the founding of my movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity, and also my mother's birthday. So that too will be a very special Saturday Night Spiritual. Also, I will be doing my 25-year anniversary party at the Hollywood Improv coming up sometime at the end of this year, the beginning of next year, and that's going to be fantastic. And everything is wonderful, and things are good and exciting. And if you want to know more about me, just find me on social media. So my guest this hour is also part of the nonprofit world. He has a wonderful nonprofit called, it's realcowboys.org, and it's REEL. Just waiting for him to come in. He's in the lobby, I think. And he's Robert Lanthier, and they have a big event coming up where they honor a lot of people who are stars of Western movies, and it's on September 20th, and it's going to be over at the area across from the Equestrian Center in Burbank, and it's, of course, to support the Gary Sinise Foundation, which is wonderful because Gary is terrific, and he does a lot of things for wounded vets, and that's so very important. And of course, my friend Jeff Zane, who's here a lot with his love, Suzanne Wong, my dear friends. He is the singer for the Lieutenant Dan Band, so we talk a lot when he's here about what Gary's done and the Gary Sinise Foundation. And, it's all about kind of, like I said when Jason was here in the last hour, either you're living the light or you don't. And those of us that live in the light understand now the importance of doing what you can, give back and service. Two of my favorite words, a hyphenated word and a word, give back and service. What are you doing to make the world a better place? Do you know, what does it mean to be a person of faith? And what are you doing to make the world a better place? I mean, I think that is such an important thing. And, what are you doing to be in service? As a matter of fact, that's the theme of my sermon from this Saturday Night Spiritual, is just that. What are you doing to be in service? And so we're just waiting on Robert to come on in, and I know he's out there, and I'm not sure where he is. And I sent him a text message, and I think our wonderful station manager, Ronan, was going to go and grab him, and then we'll get him in. So I may have to actually call him. Oh, there he is. He's right outside the door. There he is. There he comes. Look at that. He's coming in. Here he comes. I know he's coming in. He waved at me through the window. You all saw it on camera. That's my proof. I met him the other night. My wonderful friend Darby Hinton did a beautiful event with his new movie, Bill Tillman and the Outlaws, to honor our friend Johnny Crawford, who's been here many times and who will benefit from the fundraiser that happened in Malibu. Bill Tillman is a wonderful film that Darby's a part of as one of the stars and also as a producer. Johnny is in it, and they were all there. Johnny was there. Bobby Carradine, who's been on the show with Darby, was there. Darby, who of course is a dear friend and was my guest speaker last month at my Saturday Night Spiritual. And it was a wonderful night, and that's where I met Robert. Sit right here for me, sweetheart, so you can be on camera. If you want to be on camera, sit there, love. If you don't, you can sit where you are. Welcome, my friend. Thank you. Yep. Okay. It's so wonderful to have you here, Robert. Come right up to the mic and talk to me, sweetheart. Welcome to the show.
I am very pleased and honored to be here today.
I'm honored to have you, my friend. It's wonderful to have you.
Yes.
Sweetie, I did not know you were coming. Please introduce yourself and say hello.
Well, let Robert do that.
Well, this is Julianne Ream, and she's my co-producer of the
Beautiful.
famous Silver Spur Award show.
Welcome, Julianne.
I'll tell you one thing. She's a go-getter.
I love that.
All over the country.
Do I call you Julianne or Julie?
You can call me Julie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
good. Just want to check in. Sometimes when people have that middle name that they say, they want it used all the time. And
you and I have met before. We've met at parties. We've met at Paula Tricky's and
Sure.
Leslie Fomberg's.
Absolutely. Yes, we have many times. Two of my dearest, darling friends.
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how this started to be, Robert. How did you get involved with Real Cowboys? I mean, what made you think to do this? What? I'm sorry?
Are we on here?
Yeah, right. We sure are. There's a camera pointed at your face and your microphone's on.
Had I known, I would have worn my cowboy hat.
How did you get involved with this? What's your history with this?
Well, I was born in 1950. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, to get involved with the Real Cowboys, which was founded in November 1996.
Okay.
And that's REEL, as a movie reel, realcowboys.org. It was started by a wonderful man named Jack Iverson. And I came in 2 months later in January of 97. I've been with them ever since, almost over 22 and a half years.
Wow.
And there was a president for 4 years, a president for 1 year, and a president for 9 years and 2 months. And then he resigned, and I was a vice president. And I'm going this February into my 11th year as being president of the Real Cowboys.
Wow.
And best president they've ever had.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's my opinion.
Well, thank you. Well, a lot of them say that. I keep saying the reason why nobody runs against me is because I don't think they don't want the job. That's what I said. They just don't want the job, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's a wonderful organization, and we're a nonprofit, and every year we do the famous Silver Spur Award show, and it's our 22nd year.
Oh God, that's beautiful.
And it's a charity event every year.
brought this for you if you wanted it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is beautiful.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly complete, but it's almost complete.
Okay.
Everyone. There's always people that come in a little bit later. And
So
it's
wonderful.
Missing, it's going to be emceed this year by Dean Butler.
Oh, who's lovely.
He is. He's
Yeah.
the best.
I hosted a panel that he was on once, and it was so much fun. He's such a lovely guy.
He's a great
funny
guy. Yeah.
really delightful.
I
Yeah.
just worked with Allison Arngrim on
One of
the
my
show,
dearest.
and
Yep.
she said, I had her help me do the auction. I was auctioning items, and then when she came up to help, oh my God, I wished I'd had her from the very beginning. She was, nobody says no to Allison, and she said the only person that was as good at auctioneering as she was Dean Butler.
Oh, yeah, he's
and
wonderful.
so I said, do you think he'd MC the show? And so it's going to be fun. We've had an opportunity to meet him and run through everything.
Oh,
He's
that's
going to be
wonderful.
awesome. And so now we're going to throw in some auction items.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're known in 188 countries out of 196 countries in the world. Real
beautiful.
cowboys. You know, 60% of the world's population loves westerns. Cowboys, John Wayne, Sam Elliott, Tom Selleck. They love all that great stuff. So, by the way, a lot of times at some of the Silver Spur Award shows we've had before, some people came all the way from Australia, Germany, England, Japan, just to come to the Silver Spur.
Wow.
And we're labeled, by the way. It's crazy because we're the only entity out there that continues the Western genre. And it's part of the Americana of the United
Absolutely.
States.
Absolutely.
And it's not dying because we're there and we're continuing to make it grow, and it's growing and growing and growing. And we've been called the Oscars for Westerns.
It's fantastic.
And, you know, it's a Silver Spur Award show. And like last year, my God, we honored Billy Zane, Robert Carradine, Patrick Wayne.
Wow.
People like that last year. And the year before, oh my God, this one celebrity in 2017 really brought down the house. Mr. Chris Christopherson.
Oh.
He was there. He sang 2 songs
He
for
was my mama's
2017.
favorite.
Kevin Sorbo was honored. Barry Corbin, Wilford Brimley, Catherine Ross.
Beautiful.
And a beautiful lady who is a fantastic stunt woman, Marguerite Happy.
Beautiful.
And she was the MC last year. And she did such a good job. She's going to be doing it again next year for 2020.
Wow.
I mean, she just like really clicks with the people.
So what for you, what qualifies as a Western? To be included in the Silver Spur and in the Real Cowboy family.
Yeah.
How do you have to be involved, and what films and genres and television for you both, what means Western?
Well, you know, like John Wayne's movies, The Rifleman, all those great TV shows, they take place back in the 1870s, 80s.
Okay.
You know,
Little House on the Prairie
yeah,
qualifies?
Little House on the Prairie. Oh yeah, qualifies.
Okay.
Oh
Even though
yes.
there aren't really, well, sometimes cowboys in some episodes, but not always.
Yeah.
And it isn't just Western. It has to be Western oriented, but also it's kind of the Code of the West type feeling.
Okay.
So and it works in front of and behind the camera.
Okay.
I mean, we honor actors, actresses, but we also, the writers, directors,
Yeah.
all of
Stunt
that.
people.
Stunt
too.
people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The Oscars do not honor stunts. They've
I know.
given
Isn't
one.
that the worst?
It's the worst, and they've given one award, not posthumously. They gave it to him, but they did a special category for Yakima Canutt.
Way
And
back
Yakima
when.
Canutt's the best, but there are a billion
Yeah.
people before him.
Yes.
My family, my grandpa helped teach Yakima Canutt. I mean, when you were starting out, they were pioneers.
Yeah.
And, it's like, can you ride a horse and you want the job? You say, sure, backwards and in high heels,
Right.
And then you do it. You have to do it. And so, we will always honor stunt people.
Well, and the world is changing. I sit on the board of directors for a film festival, Artemis Women in Action,
Right.
that was founded by a stunt woman.
Right.
So it's branched out to all women in action films, but it was in the beginning just stunt women. And
Stunt
still
women.
very much honor stunt women. And first of all, nobody ever knew women did stunts. They thought it was all just like a man in a wig. But also, nobody gave thought to until the internet who's actually doing all those fighting scenes and who's doing the superhero stuff and who's riding the horses and driving the cars.
Absolutely.
Because of the suspension of disbelief.
Writing
People
the
just
songs,
saw the
performing
star
the songs.
doing it and never
Absolutely.
thought about it.
Absolutely.
And so stunt people sort of lived in the shadows.
Right.
And now they have their own fans that just want to know about them.
Yeah.
which I think is very exciting.
The stunt women particularly
Yes.
are near and dear to my heart. I'd like to invite you to come into our museum, Valley Relics Museum.
Oh, I would love
I
to.
have a display on stunt women, and we have to get through the Silver Spur, and then I'm doing a big Yakima Canutt display and a bunch of other things. But I want you to come and see
I would love
some
that.
of the costumes from the 20s.
Oh, I would love that.
The 30s,
Yeah.
the makeup kits. The women were fabulous. Stunt women are my favorite.
Badasses.
Yes, they were.
Well, the thing of it is,
And are.
all these years, I wasn't the producer or the Silver Spur director at the time, but all these years, they've always had a male be the MC.
Right.
So last year, I broke the mold.
Good for you.
And I had Marguerite Happy be the MC last year. And then she's going to be next year in 2020 because I had, Dean Butler this year. But talking about the stunt people, one of the very influential stuntmen we're honoring this year, Jack Gill. Right. He's the one that's been after the Oscars to be able to honor, to have a category for the stunt people.
I agree.
And then we said, excuse me, we're going to honor you this year. So
Absolutely.
the man went crazy. And guess who he's married to? Morgan Brittany.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, she's going to
be there too?
Pardon? Yeah, she's going to be there that night to support her husband.
Robert's the best because he's the easiest person for me to work with because
Right.
he's so open-minded. If I come to him with an idea and say, listen, the stunt people are the Oscars won't honor, he'll say absolutely every time. He's to women, everything. He's just really open-minded to
Well, and not just the
share in
Oscars,
that.
but also even I've had a lot of the officers from SAG-AFTRA in here many times, including the president of SAG-AFTRA, Gabrielle Carteris, has been here a couple of times. It's also about having the studios and even the unions recognize the equal rights for stunt actors. I mean, they just don't get their fair shake, but then they're the ones falling off the building and getting beat up and getting run over, and so it's a very important
Getting
part
killed.
of Western films from the very beginning,
Right.
because now there are actors who learn to ride horses but back then it was a lot more suspension of disbelief.
Well, without the
Absolutely.
stunt people, the actor is not believable.
Yeah, you're right.
And if we don't honor them now, there's so much that's being done with computers. If we don't honor them now, the generations that are coming up are not going to even have knowledge of that.
Right.
And that's very important.
Yeah, you're right.
But the honorees this year we have is, because we're doing the 60th anniversary of Bonanza, Laramie, and Rawhide.
Beautiful.
60 years ago is when it started. Unbelievable how this happened. But Bobby Crawford, who's Johnny Crawford's brother, was also a star on Laramie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was the one that played Andy Sherman.
Okay.
And, of course, Robert Fuller and John Smith and Hoagie Carmichael. That was the show back then. And, of course, for Rawhide, we're honoring Clint Eastwood. And then, of course, then we've got, for Bonanza, well, the Cartwrights are gone. But this one lady we're honored. She did a Rawhide, and she did other Westerns. Her very first Western was with Joel McRae, called Ride to High Country back in '62. As a matter of fact, his grandson, Wyatt McRae, is going to be her presenter, and that's Mariette Hartley.
Wow.
So we're going to be honoring her on the auspices of, honoring Bonanza. And, of course, Clint Eastwood for Rawhide, we're honoring him this year. And Darby Hinton, who was the little kid on Daniel Boone. He's not a little
One of my
kid anymore,
dearest.
and he did a
Beautiful
lot of
man.
He did a lot of Westerns.
Still does.
And we're honoring him this year with the Silver Spur. And this one lady, she got an Oscar when she was 8 or 9 years old. And she did Western, Wagon Train, Rawhide. As a matter of fact, she got to kiss Clint Eastwood and the lovely Margaret O'Brien.
Beautiful.
And she got the Oscar back when she did Meet Me in St. Louis with
Sure.
Judy Garland. As a matter of fact, Judy Garland's son, Joey Luft, is going to be Margaret's presenter this year.
Beautiful.
And some of the stars that are slated to come this year and to support, and like last year, we honored Dawn Wells, Marianne
Another
from
dear friend of
Gilligan's
mine.
Island.
Lovely.
She's coming this year. We honored Johnny Crawford.
My
And
boy.
people are coming back just because Johnny's going to be there. I had people come from Pennsylvania and New York and Georgia last year just to be with Johnny. It's amazing.
Sweet.
You know who Florence LaRue is?
I do.
She's coming, from the Fifth Dimension.
Beautiful.
Pat Boone is slated to come. Kathy Garver is slated to come.
Another
by
good
the,
friend.
By the way, you know who Dennis Holmes is?
I do not.
Dennis Holmes was also he came in at the last half of the series of Laramie because Bobby left at that time. He had other commitments, I guess. So Dennis Holmes continued as the child actor in Laramie. But we got a surprise for him. I mean, he's coming as the presenter for Bobby Crawford.
Nice.
Well, you know, I thought about it and I said, it isn't right that he also was a star of Laramie, but he's giving it to a friend that was a star when they were kids. Well, hidden in the podium when Bobby gets his award, and because Dennis is going to present it to him, he's going to say, wait a minute, you're not going anywhere. It's your turn to get the award too. So he's going to present that to Dennis. Both of them will have it at the same time, so it's going to make him happy. Robert Carradine, who was honored last year,
Lovely.
Wonderful, wonderful guy. He's going to be the presenter for Darby Hinton. And for Jack Gill, the one and only Mr. John Schneider is coming.
Who's also been here.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This is like all my radio guests.
There you go.
Plus a few more.
There you go. There you go. Well,
That's
John's
the
going to
beauty
be
of
there.
living in LA,
Isn't
right?
it?
John
Yep.
Schneider. And I don't want to forget this. This wonderful gentleman was here last year. And he's coming back. He is such a wonderful, he's a minister. He gives the invocation prayer.
Oh.
The one and only Mr. Rosie Greer.
Oh,
Rosie
wonderful.
Greer is going to be at the Silver Spur this year.
Beautiful.
And as you know, we do a charity thing. All tickets are tax deductible. It goes pay for the dinner, pays for the event. And this year's charity is going to the wonderful Gary Sinise Foundation. And all you folks out there in the world that's listening to this or will be listening to this, you know, an organization like the Gary Sinise Foundation, they depend on donations, okay? There's a lot of multimillionaire celebrities out there that's got millions and millions of dollars. You know, why don't you contact realcowboys.org and make a wonderful donation? It's tax deductible. We got the paperwork, and the proceeds will be going to the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Beautiful.
He builds houses for paraplegic veterans in wheelchairs. You know, I mean, I'm a veteran myself. You know, I didn't know it was going to be televised, but I'm wearing my U.S. Air Force hat.
Nice.
I'm a Vietnam War veteran.
Beautiful.
I was a jet fighter mechanic, F-4 Phantoms during the conflict. So I served my country, and I'm one that survived. And I thank the good Lord for that. And the wonderful Julie Ream, my co-director right here, producer, she does the Veterans Memorial of America. She has these beautiful medallions to be able to honor the celebrities that are there that night for having served in the military. Now, I want you to continue saying more about that yourself.
I'd be happy to. It's for actors that served in the military, and
Beautiful.
I am the spokesperson for the Hollywood support group for the Veterans Memorial of America. And the recipients this year are going to be Dan Blocker and Clint Eastwood and trying to think of everybody.
Fuller.
Robert Fuller. And
they're all veterans.
Paul
Paul
Brenniger, all veterans. You'd be amazed how many people.
Paul was in World War II, and
You'd be amazed how many actors.
right, Robert Fuller and Clint Eastwood has served during the Korean War, and I believe Dan Blocker too.
Yes, all in the Army.
Yeah.
And Paul Brenniger, who was Wishbone on the
Rawhide.
He his sons are going to be there too,
Beautiful.
except for him, and he served in the Navy.
Wow, that's beautiful. How did you get involved with veterans work, Julie?
It's just near and it's just near and dear to
Do you
my
come
heart.
from a family of vets?
I don't.
Oh, I do.
I don't. I come from a family of patriots.
Okay.
And I think that's what's the most important.
The same thing
to me. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's the same ideology. Yeah.
Like you say, if you want to see what's really inside someone's heart, see how they treat a waitress.
Yeah.
If you want to see what's inside someone's heart, see how they feel about veterans. And that to me is paramount. And
I agree.
It's a very important. And it doesn't matter that they served in the military. I mean that they are celebrities. But this show is based on celebrity. I support veterans in every walk of life.
You know, it's interesting. I tell this story all the time on the air, but my great uncle was a World War I ace. And he, for the rest of his life when he got home, he never took his uniform off. And he never paid for a meal. He never paid for a hotel. because at that time, if you saw a veteran, especially an ace, because not a lot of those guys came home,
Right.
you would be honored your whole life. My uncle, that was my mother's uncle. My uncle, my father's brother, was a World War II fighter pilot, Thunderbolt, European missions.
P-47s.
Like 47 of them he did.
Right.
And man, everywhere he went, somebody honored him. And then my father was too young to fly, but he was in the Army Air Corps and worked on radios, fixed radios. Was training to work on a bomber when the war ended. Somewhere along the line, we switched how we feel about veterans.
I know.
Because it used to be there was that kind of honor that all you had to do.
I'm not sure how old you are, but me, I know when that happened.
Yeah.
I was 15 or 16 years old in 1969.
Okay, I was 2.
Oh, okay. See, that's
I was
that's the
I was
difference.
19.
You didn't think I was 15 or 16.
I wrote. I know you're younger than me, and I wrote for a book on PTSD.
Yeah.
And it was such a cathartic thing for me to do because when I was a kid, I'm going to say I was 14 years old when my brother-in-law was sent to Vietnam. And it was out of the Van Nuys Airport, out of the National Guard building, which now is the house of the museum that I curate and docent for. And so that to me gave me a whole other spin. It was all the way going all the way around. But it hit my life so hard because it was during the Vietnam War. And our parents were what you were describing as it was the weirdest time politically where you made this, like, it was just a bad time.
Yeah.
And every day someone was going, your neighbor's kids, the kids you went to church with, kids you went to school with, their brothers, and every day someone was dying. I mean, not one someone, lots of someones. And then they were these soldiers were so looked down upon. And so the only time I ever got in trouble in school was beating up kids I beat up a kid that was picking on somebody that was handicapped. And I was smacking him with my coat, and my mother had to come and get me. But that's what I do. I'm for the underdog. And when I saw how badly the Vietnam veterans were treated when they came home, it impacted me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, a friend of mine, when he stepped off the airplane at the airport, people outside protesting, one person threw a can of paint in his face.
I bet.
It's just awful. And my
Vietnam
cousin
veteran,
he went...
Because he had his uniform on.
He went one person and came home another. And he was able to tell his story through that book. And I told his story. I told my story and his story. And then Michael Learned's husband, he served. And I invited him to write because it was so cathartic for him. He was always going to write his own book, like we all are, but you never do. And so he wrote for someone else's book and got his story told, which was a huge gift for him. He was just pouring out pages. I think his story was over 80 pages long. And they just took it and let him have his say and published it.
So important.
It's so important. And to me, if you're eating and we're free, we're eating.
Right.
Thank a veteran, thank a farmer.
Exactly.
Thank God,
Exactly.
And that's what's in my heart, and that's what keeps me just going.
I don't think we understand the amount of fear that an 18-year-old kid goes through being sent to a strange place where he or she has never been, having no idea what they're going to encounter. I'm the same age as all the girls and boys that went to Desert Storm.
Right.
So I'm exactly that age.
So
that's where my peers
experienced that feeling
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah. I dated a guy once who was a Desert Storm vet, and he wanted to go see a movie about war because he thought he would be able to relate to it. And during the movie, he kept getting up and going to the bathroom and getting up and going to the bathroom, and then he got up and went to the bathroom. I don't know if I've ever told the story in the air. He got up, went to the bathroom, never came back. And when the movie was over, I went, and he was literally crying in the lobby. And that was the end of our dating, because I don't think it's like he couldn't face me after that. I didn't care. I'm Irish. We cry every day. We cry for good and we cry for bad and we cry for other people. But I think he was so humiliated that I had seen that.
Oh.
But I don't know how you could go and endure something like that.
He was
and
broken.
not.
He was
of course.
Damaged.
And the particular things that happened in this film were things that had happened to him and repeatedly. And he just couldn't It was terrifying.
I'm in my mid-60s, and it took everything I had to write for that PTSD book. Because writing for a book is fun.
Yeah.
That was not fun.
Yeah.
And revisiting that is not fun. And I didn't go anywhere. I
Right.
just suffered the pain of living in LA, having a wonderful life.
Right.
And on the guilt that goes along with that.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's we owe everything.
Yeah.
To the veterans.
I agree. And back to your work with Robert, we also owe everything to the people who, throughout history, have provided the escapism.
That's right.
From the things that were going on in their life, from
That's
PTSD,
right.
from childhood abuse.
That's right.
Abuse, violence,
That's
trauma, accidents, fires, earthquakes. We're just now starting to use that PTSD word and realize how many people carry their trauma around and have never worked through it. And people that probably what kept them alive was being able to turn on their TV, turn on a movie,
and
escape.
Well,
that's why everyone loves the Code of the West.
Yeah.
Case in point. When I was 8 years old is when the TV show The Rifleman premiered. Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen, a lot of black and white Western TV shows, Wagon Train, you name it. But 60 years later, they're still showing that on TV. And I talk to younger kids, 15, 16 years old, that watch that on TV and they say, that's great stuff. They don't have good stuff like that today. But my God, I can't believe it. I asked my grandpa, my grandma, they say, yeah, they were kids when teenagers, when these shows were on, like me.
Yeah.
And it just, my grandkids that live in Florida, my daughter has them watch these shows, and they just sit there and they're just mesmerized to the TV to see Johnny Crawford or any show like that, and they just love the great stuff.
That's why we do what we do. Well, it's always honoring the veterans. It is a ton of hard work, and all the money goes to charity.
Yeah.
And it's just, you do it because it's the right thing to do.
It's being in service.
That's right.
It's what it really is to be in. And I'll tell you a story about Johnny and Darby that I have told before. So my mama refused to make any plans for when she died. And she always, her only things were, don't bury me in the ground, don't put me in the ocean, no obituary, no funeral, those are depressing. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? And she said, throw a big party and invite your friends.
That's everywhere you go.
And I thought, well, I don't know what that means. So I broadcast this show 4 times a year from the Hollywood Improv.
Right.
And I thought I had a date coming up. It was 4 days. She died in March, and this event was 4 days after her birthday in November.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to throw a party at the Improv. So I called the Improv and I said, okay, I know normally it's, an entertainment show, but it will still be, but it's also going to be my mom's memorial. And they were like, oh, okay. Like, how would they say no? So I brought in people that my mother loved as part of the thing. All my actor friends that she saw, it was Ed Asner, Barry Bostwick, and then my mom loved figure skating, and Ty Babylonia and Randy Gardner are friends. Right. And my mom loved Westerns. And I thought, well, who am I going to get from the Westerns that she loved? And so I called up Darby and Johnny, and I said, my mom loved both Daniel Boone and The Rifleman, and I grew up on those shows.
Right.
Will you come and just come and do an interview with me for what's basically my mother's memorial, and there will be somebody doing an opening prayer, and someone's going to get up and sing Danny Boy. Will you two come up? And Johnny came, Darby came, Johnny brought his rope.
Yes.
And when I interviewed Barry, I interviewed Ed, everybody was so wonderful and so beautiful. Yeah. And Johnny and Darby at the time didn't know me from Adam. They else knew me better. And they said yes, and they just came, and Johnny stood out in the courtyard on the red carpet, did his rope tricks, and did them up on stage.
He did that last year at the Silver Spur when he was being honored.
And I know how much that meant to her and how much it meant to everybody in my life.
Yeah.
But the kind of people, I told his niece that the other night at the event where we met at Darby's event that I was just talking about, the kind of people that would say yes to something like that just because.
Right.
That's the kind of people that we're dealing with here with these people.
By the way, this is just a little offset here, but the TV show The Rifleman, I am the only guy in the world that makes the Rifleman's rifle.
Oh, wow.
Using the 100-year-old Winchesters.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm the only guy in the world. And Steve Connors, Chuck Connors' son, will sign the buttstock.
Wow.
And the picture, he'll do that.
Wow.
He'll do that. So I'm the only guy. By the way, you folks out there, just look up realcowboys.org and call me on my phone if you want a rifle.
That
And
you really were influenced by that show as a kid. That's really
Well,
stuck with you.
I'm going to tell you some little crazy thing. I was 8 years old. Of course, Johnny is 4 years old. I'm going to be 70, and he's 73. He was born in 46. I'm born in 50. Back in 1984, 83, The Rifleman was on TV. It's an old show.
Right.
My daughter was 8 years old at the time. And she said, Daddy, I love Mark McCain. She says, I'm going to marry him someday. I said, sweetheart, he's older than I am. No, he's not. He's my age. I said, sweetheart, I was your age when that show was brand new. Okay, she let it lie. So later years, here she is. She graduates high school, graduates college, and Johnny was going to be at an autograph show, and I knew Johnny anyway. And I said, would you like to meet Johnny Croft? Because she came to visit me. Sure, I'd like to meet him. So she got to meet him, and Johnny developed a major crush on my daughter. He fell in love with her. He would ask about her all the time. Yeah. One time she was coming to visit, and I saw him, and he was going to be doing his big band thing.
Oh, he's so wonderful.
And he said, how's Natalie doing? That's my daughter's name. She's doing fine. I said, besides, she's going to be here next week. He said, no way. So he reached in his pocket a couple of tickets for $100 each for his show he was doing. He said, one for you and one for Natalie. He said, do you think she has a picture she can autograph to me?
Oh.
Well, I happen to have a 5x7. I blew up to her, and she signed it to Johnny again. He was in his glory.
Mm.
And about 2 months before she got married, I met with Johnny, and he said, how's she doing? I said, well, in 2 months she's getting married. The smile on his face disappeared, and he hasn't been the same since, I guess. But it's funny how she developed a crush when she was a little girl, but in later years, he developed a crush on her.
Yeah, that happens, though.
It does. But she's happily married, lives in Florida and everything, got 2 wonderful kids and stuff like that, so she's doing very well out there. Anyway, the Silver Spur, it's a very important thing for the folks out there that the show is going to be September 20th, next Friday. There's still some very good tickets left over. And it's no longer going to be at the famous Sportsman Lounge, I should say, that in Studio City, that we've been there for 18 years, the Silver Spur. They tore it down. I'm not a happy camper.
I can't even believe it.
If I would have had the money, I would have bought it. They're building a mini mall. They tore down a major landmark.
At least they're keeping the hotel. At least they're keeping something.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same as Reno.
No more Swan Pond.
No.
But the show.
All the things that were filmed there, all the live shows that went on.
The show is going to be at the famous Calamigos Equestrian Center in Burbank at 480 Riverside Drive. We have some wonderful tickets left over, and not very often, except for the Oscars or maybe the Golden Globes or anything like that. But there's nothing about westerns in any of those events. We are the only one that you can come to our event and have an array of big stars that you can hobnob with, and you can have your picture taken with them. And inside cover of the program book, it says autographs. They will autograph it for you. It's a time to meet, to have fun. Like I said, people from all over the world have come to the Silver Spur Awards show. And we've already, go online, realcowboys.org. It's too late to send in checks by mail. You can go through PayPal, realcowboys.org. That's REEL, cowboys.org, or silverspurawards.com. Right. silverspurawards.com. It'll punch you right up to PayPal. A lot of people are paying on PayPal.
And they can get there through Facebook.
Oh, yes, and Facebook, and Facebook all your friends after you've seen realcowboys.org's front page and all who's coming. And, some of these stars are not getting any younger, like, for example, Clint Eastwood, of course, and Margaret O'Brien.
Margaret O'Brien. She pulled me into, I was at an award ceremony once, and they were sort of making people get in line for the buffet based on how famous you were. And I was standing behind her, and I'm like, oh, I think I got to go to the back of the line. And she's like, no, you don't. She pulled me right up and stuck a plate in my hand. Yeah, she's talk about a badass. She's amazing.
A tiny little thing, but she's a sweetheart. Fantastic woman. And I told her last year, because she came to the show, and I said, you did Rawhide. Okay, you did other Western, you did Wagon Train. Next year, I'm doing the 60th anniversary of Rawhide. That is the perfect time to have you honored that night also. So she's all thrilled to get the Silver Spur Award that night. And again, realcowboys.org. The tickets are $200 for the general seating or $250 for the premium seating. It's a wonderful dinner that night with musical entertainment. And, of course, with the awards, you're going to enjoy yourselves. And, like I said, we're the only entity that's doing this. And get on Facebook. Tell your friends. Upper right-hand corner on the flyer on the online, you'll see my phone number, 818-395-5020. Call me. I mean, to PayPal. You can't pay a check anymore. You have to do it through PayPal. I had a couple that came last year to the Silver Spur, and their tickets weren't there. So I came to see what the problem was. And I said, where do you live? Well, we live in New York City. How did you pay? Well, we paid with a check. When did you mail it? 2 days ago. I said, well, it's not here yet. You know, I mean, that's why there was a cutoff date, and you went past the cutoff date. So yesterday was the cutoff date, so you can pay through PayPal. And but like I said, the more people that comes, the more money we can help the veterans via the wonderful Gary Sinise, who really works so hard with the Lieutenant Dan Band around the country.
He does.
He's a great wonderful man.
Thank you so much for being here. Will you come back? I would love that.
Well, when do you want me to come back?
Well, I don't know. When it's done, we'll recap it.
Yeah.
Where can people find out, Julie, about the Valley Relics Museum?
Well, we're at the Burbank, not the Burbank, we're at the Van Nuys Airport.
Okay, beautiful.
And it is, I've got off the...
It's on Balboa
on
and Stagg.
Balboa and Stagg.
Street.
The number is not off the top of my head, but Balboa and Stagg. We're open Thursday through Sunday. If you want a docent tour to go through, or you want to talk with me, feel free to text me or call me, or I'm on Facebook and look into it. I'm on Facebook, Julianne Ream on Facebook, and you can see what days that I'll be there. And my husband does the Lockheed exhibit there in the aerospace. We have a beautiful display on Hollywood. We have Phyllis Diller's wigs.
It's wonderful.
Hands and feet prints of the stars that I'm still getting in there. Johnny's rifle is on display.
Right. That's Johnny's Rifleman rifle's on display there.
Rifleman rifle.
Yeah.
It was made in 1892.
Yeah, it's
wow.
beautiful.
I used the old
uncle,
originals.
Glenn, was the stagecoach driver on the Rifleman.
Wow.
And he's stagecoach jacket is in there. And we have just beautiful things on display, and I will be changing it out soon. But ValleyRelicsMuseum.org.
Do it, my friends. And if you missed those links, SheenaMetalExperience.com, LATalkRadio.com. Send me an email, and I'll gladly forward the links over to you. On social media, you can find me everywhere at Sheena Metal, and I am the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity at raisingthevibration.org, and I am raisingthevibration.com. It's the Sheena Metal Experience on LA Talk Radio, and you know what happens here, my friends. I know you do. Every Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, we rip the veil off the human sideshow and expose those big old Homo sapiens at their most bizarre sometimes and at their most beautiful every single day. And you know it's my show, and that's true, my friends. It is indeed my show, but what it really is, always and forever, it's your experience. Thanks for listening. Have a great time, and I'll see you all tomorrow right here on LA Talk Radio.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.